a shot here.
Well, it's a thumbs up and a smile for number 23 on our Season 3 leaderboard. Someone who did play in our Players' Championship last year. He'll kick things off with a Volcanic Island, and we are underway here in round number 6 from our nation's capital.
Yeah, and I actually really like the approach that Bryant's taken here by... There's no real reason to run the Tendrils in the main deck. I guess if you have one, then you have some lines where you can Infernal Tutor for it and combo people off when mana is tight. But at the same time, if he's going to run one Storm Spell in the main deck, I think Empty the Warrens is a pretty reasonable choice.
It's a duress.
I wonder if it'll get anything.
Might get a concession.
People know what Dylan's playing anyway.
For the most part, I love it. Oh, I think he's going to concede. I think he's going to concede. He kind of... it seems like he wants to.
Well, he could Brainstorm. He'll lose the Brainstorm. Then his land Force of Will. That's not going to beat anything.
Yeah. It's going to take a heck of a series of draws. There's a Flooded Strand. Pass the turn back. Cook going to play Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, probably naming Force of Will.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. All right. Done with Volcanic Island in hand. Hitting land drops, that's reasonable.
Well, Bryant isn't.
Yeah. All right. Got Cutthroat Shaman off the top for Dylan. He's got a chance.
It's a clock.
I mean, this is relatively speaking where Dylan would want to be. See, he leaves the land in hand as opposed to playing it out in case he top decks a Brainstorm. 3 mana sources was enough for his deck.
Dylan's dead.
Okay, well, Bryant does Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual, Lion's Eye Diamond, 1, 2, 3 spells. Ad Nauseam, crack Lion's Eye Diamond, that's 4 spells. He has 3 mana floating off the Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, it's either red or black. We'll find out here. It looks like it might be black. And Bryant said it's go time. Keep in mind, he hasn't played a land yet and has a lot of life.
Yeah, 4 spells so far. So we have our counters here. Yep, 3 red.
Take 1, 0. Take another one, 17, 15, 13.
He is already close to having enough to just win here.
Still at 13, still at 13. Now 11. 9.
Yeah, issue is he knows he can go to 1 if he wants to.
Yep. It's going to go down to 7 now from that Cabal
8,
Therapy.
7, yeah.
I think Lion's Eye Diamond is probably
This is just enough. Yeah. He has a ton of mana. He has some Infernal Tutors. He has some Burning Wishes. This will be enough.
Dylan just said, show me how you're going to kill me. Bryant said, I have a Tendrils in my sideboard that I can wish for. And we're moving on to game number 2 here. Bryant Cook going to win game number 1 over Dylan Donegan. Storm very quickly up a game over Grixis Delver. Pretty easy stuff there.
Yep, so the win con there is Bryant just needs to cast enough spells to make that Tendrils lethal. So he casts 5 of the spells from that whole stack of cards he drew. He Burning Wishes, that's spell number 9 for your Tendrils of Agony, and then casts Tendrils out of his board for the 10th spell.
Well, we are going to take a look at the sideboards now after that very quick first game. We'll start with Dylan Donegan. He's got 4 Cabal Therapies, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Surgical Extraction, and a lot of singletons here. Red Elemental Blast, Vendilion Click, Dread of Night, Ancient Grudge, Pithing Needle Dismember, and Sulfuric Vortex. What do we like here and why?
Anything that can deal with spells seems decent on Dylan Donegan's side. He does not have much for the matchup. Cabal Therapies should be great. They will help, they're discards, so they'll be pretty decent here. He could use Pyroblasts. There are cantrips to blast in the Storm deck. They're not terrible. He has a Vendilion Click, so that seems decent. Also, the 2 Surgical Extractions really can muck up things for a Storm player.
Those could actually be relevant. They
can be. If Bryant Ad Nauseams, they're not as relevant, but if he's going to go for Past in Flames, they would be. Now, one thing we know that Dylan doesn't know is that there's only 1 Past in Flames that's in Bryant's sideboard.
And the other cards in Bryant's sideboard. He does have this Burning Wish package, so he's got some 1-ups here to wish for, like Void Snare, the Past in Flames that you mentioned, Empty the Warrens, Tendrils of Agony, which is a win condition, a Massacre, and actually a copy of Dark Petition. That is a new one for Magic Origins. To go along with 3 Abrupt Decays, 3 Xantid Swarms, 2 Chain of Vapors, and then a copy of Bayou. Anything that really stands out to you there as a good sideboard option?
Well, sometimes you'll see the Xantid Swarms come in against a blue deck. Now, I'm not positive he wants to do that against Grixis Delver, as the deck's not that heavy on instant speed cards. You may not, and also it has enough removal that I'm not positive that would work well. It'll be interesting. I mean, he definitely needs. You always have a Chain of Vapor in after sideboard against just about any deck. But largely, I think he'll play his game 1 deck. The second Empty the Warrens is not terrible if he wants it in the main.
Well, these players are going to shuffle up here for game number 2. And in the meantime, we will talk about the IQ circuit here with Star City Games, a very popular thing that was able to help Dylan Donegan qualify for the Players' Championship last year. It's helping a lot of players right now, too, like Kevin Jones and Jim Davis. But it's a great way to get some local play at your local store. You've got exclusive prizes, including invitational qualifications, playmats, top 8 pins, invitational winner tokens like Jacob Wilson and Ali Antrazi, and then Star City Games premium vouchers as well. StarCityGames.com/invitational qualifiers for more information. As everyone knows, here on the Open Series, we're typically running Premier IQs on Sunday. So in this particular week, we're doing a Legacy main event. So we've got a standard and modern Premier IQ tomorrow for players to play in. And your store can run something as large as that or as small as just a normal IQ. All you have to do is go to StarCityGames.com/invitational qualifier for more information about that.
Yeah, the Invitational Qualifier Series, a great way to just get a regular Premier play in your local area.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to play some Magic, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
First game, a little bit of a doozy. Dylan's going to have to work his way out of a 1-0 hole against Bryant. He'll get to be on the play for the second game, however.
Looks like Dylan is taking a mulligan here. Looks like he'll be on the search for 6 cards.
Hey.
See if he can find a better 6 here. Last time he went to 4. So
yeah, I mean, it does happen that you know, some percentage of the time you don't get to play games due to mulligans. You generally hope it does not happen twice in the same match. On 6. With early pressure, that should still be fine. All right, looks like he's going to get to stand at 6.
That was not that was not a reassuring head nod, but it was a head nod.
There's another I can play this.
Yeah, I can work with this Deathrite Shaman off of a fetch land, and that's exactly what he's going to do as he goes down to 19 in the process.
I mean, the question is, how much defense does he have against an early kill?
Yeah, I mean, you need some.
Yeah, Deathrite's good though. Even if Dylan doesn't have much early pressure, Deathrite can tread water for a while by exiling cards out of Brian's graveyard.
Well, here's a Gataxian Probe, so we'll get an idea of, okay, 3 Brainstorms and a Pyroblast.
It's a green light. Maybe. That'd be a good, Brian would have to have a good hand for this to be a green light, but those exist in with Storm.
I've seen him kill on turn 1 quite a bit.
It happens.
We're not going to see it right now,
Not
it appears.
Not off Ponder.
Though it is good to get that blue card out of your hand when your opponent does have a Pyroblast.
A lot of tools. In Brian's hand, a lot of fast mana. Looks like we see 2 Lotus Petals and LED to go with them. And Ad Nauseam in the top cards there is dangerous. At Bryant, looks like Chromox, Petal, LED. A lot of fast mana.
I'm telling you, I've seen him kill on turn 1, even when he does Ponder. And the way that he just slid that land over, yeah, I think he's making a move.
All right, Chromox, imprinting Brainstorm. Petal, yeah, Petal.
LED.
Lion's Eye Diamond.
Well, that means he knows what's on top of his deck.
Gataxian Probe, yep. And with that on the stack, he'll sack the LED.
Yep.
Drawing what I have to assume is Ad Nauseam.
Yep.
And there we go. Found his way to 5 mana. He has played 4 Mana Rocks, a Gataxian Probe, an Ad Nauseam. Yeah.
It's
funny
funny because
7 and the Ponder. That's 7 spells already.
It's funny because when he starts off with a Ponder, you're thinking, oh, okay, I get another turn, but there's no guarantee. So, Burning Wish. Another Burning Wish.
He only has 1 mana available right now with that Lotus Petal. That's going to be the choke here, or the thing that he needs to get around. Now, Lion's Eye Diamond will really help.
Another Probe here. Empty the Warrants might cause him to slow down a little bit now. Now he's got something to think about.
It's a lot of Goblin tokens. The question I think is, can he get it to a spot where this is lethal in one attack? To do that, he will probably need to be storm up to 11, 12 to be safe, but 11 to be probable.
You see he's at 5 right now.
Yeah, 5's the danger number because the most expensive spell in his deck is Ad Nauseam. It means he could kill himself.
Well, he's already cast the Ad Nauseam.
Oh, no, oh, right. So the one Ad Nauseam.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have, depending on his sideboard, if he's boarded in the Dark Petition, he could still kill himself. That'd be it, though.
He's going to keep going. Down to 4 now.
Okay, now that means he's opened up a couple more cards to kill himself. Past in Flames, if it's in the deck, would kill himself. Would make him lose the game. But even then, that's it. The one in the main deck, Ad Nauseam and Empty the Warrens, he knows where both of them are. So if he's still thinking about it, I wonder if he has boarded in something that could kill him.
I don't know, this is a pretty dangerous situation because I'm not entirely convinced that he can kill Dylan right now. He can Cabal Therapy and take away all the brainstorms. But Bryant's at 4 and Dylan has a Deathrite Shaman on the battlefield.
Okay, so yeah, that's probably the concern. Is that, all right, so he will cast LED. He can't cast Gitaxian Probe, obviously.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what he can actually do right now. Because he didn't have any mana floating going into this. He played Cabal Therapy, knocked out the brainstorms. He's already played a land. It doesn't look like he has many mana rocks, and there's not a ton that he can do right now. I suppose he can keep a hand and just try to go off again next turn. Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's what he'll have to do. He'll have to full combo next turn. Miss that turn for Bryant Cook. And now he knows he'll have to fight around Pyroblast, but that's only if Dylan shows a red mana.
Yeah, well, he's got the Deathrite Shaman that can provide the red mana.
Interesting situation.
Here's a Delver.
All right. The Delver in play does mean that Bryant does not have to worry about... So there's an interesting play here. I think Dylan, I'm not positive he wanted to play the Delver there. Because if Bryant doesn't go for a combo, like Bryant doesn't have to go for it now. Because if Dylan had left up the black, Bryant could threaten Dylan. If Dylan had left up the mana, he could threaten end step using Deathrite, untap Deathrite, kill you. So it would force Bryant to combo here. Now, if Bryant, I mean, it's not great, but he can pass the turn and just hope the Delver doesn't flip.
Yeah, I think that's a tough play. You know, because Dylan is being pulled in 2 directions. He wants to be able to leave up the mana for Deathrite Shaman to cast the Pyroblast, but he also wants to be able to threaten to kill him
the next turn.
So Delver is kind of a way to hedge there, but Delver has to flip for sure, and there's no guarantee that will happen.
Right.
The percentages are probably in his favor for Delver to flip, but it doesn't mean that it's 100% to happen. Now here's Brainstorm, and Bryant knows
that this will be Pyroblasted.
Yeah, Bryant's going to leave up with some sort of blue spell that'll get countered.
Now, there is no Pyroclasm style card in Bryant's sideboard, so he couldn't just wish for Clasm.
Yeah, this is actually surprising not to see a Pyroclasm-esque effect. The best you'll get is a Massacre, but that's not going to work here.
Well, if he has a Rite of Flame, he could Rite of Flame and then Burning Wish for Massacre, crack LED, and cast Massacre. Is not good, but it works.
It is a way out.
He'd much rather win the game.
Probe is going to bring him down to 2.
All right, yeah, he doesn't plan on letting Dylan untap. That's what that one says.
Brainstorm was the draw.
Does he have to? So he has a. All right, Brainstorm, cast. The 4th spell. Can he find some fast mana? Dark Ritual, that'll do.
Yeah, Dark Ritual's not bad. Infernal Tutor's there too.
Well, he doesn't actually have a black mana source at the moment.
That's true. He's getting crossed up a lot of different ways right now.
Yeah, like I said, so there was the line to keep him alive is, yeah, he could have righted into Wish into Massacre, and then they both would be on empty hands with Bryant at 4. It's not, and no mana rocks. Yeah, it's not going to do it.
Hey, he's going to have to concede the game, so Dylan Donegan, you can see a bit of a surprise look on his face. when Bryant tries to go for it on the first turn of the game, the ad nauseum kind of backfired a little bit there, and he ends up conceding a turn and a half later. So Dylan Donegan, as you can see, really can't believe it, but he does win game number 2 here over Bryant Cook. Grixis, Delver, and Storm getting ready for somehow a third game.
Yeah. So one of the dangers of the ad nauseum win con is that it's not safe, especially when you miss. You're at a very low life total. And we saw that one play out as Dylan Donegan evens it up at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, all he can do is shake his head and try to hold back a smile. And that's actually what he's doing right now. We will learn a little bit more about the youngster from North Carolina. Dylan Donegan, our Season 4 Invitational champion, is 18 from Cary, North Carolina. An Invitational top 8 with a win. That was during the Season 4 Invitational last year. He's got 5 Open Series top 8s to his name as well. Our youngest Invitational champion, a big basketball fan, and plays the drums, going to college in Texas on a music scholarship, is Dylan Donegan. A lot of success early in his Magic career. And so long as he continues to play, I think that's a name we're going to know for quite a long time.
Well, it certainly has a style that he's developed on the Open Series in the last year. Big fan of blue-red tempo style decks, especially in Legacy. We see him almost exclusively on Delver strategies.
No, he loves Delver decks. We've seen him top 8 with basically all of them. And in Standard, when he did win that Invitational Season 4 last year to qualify for the Players' Championship, he was playing Jeskai tokens in that format. Now, not every Grixis Delver game goes like that. That one was a strange one, to say the least. But Cook will be on the play here for game number 3. It's weird. Storm is such an interesting deck because I think you're probably supposed to go for the turn 1 kill there, if you can.
It's not, one card isn't making things get better, so that's why you'd go for it.
It's also strange, too, because when you see your opponent's hand, they have 3 Brainstorms, and a Pyroblast, you might think, well, I don't really want to have to deal with this, them brainstorming into the right cards or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if Bryant had another land in hand that waiting a turn, like, if he knew waiting a turn would have netted him another mana, I think he was clear to wait another turn. But in the dark, that's one of the things when you look at your openers with Storm, yeah, they're just, it's not always clear. Some combo decks really want to just draw another card and go off at the last possible second. But something like this Storm deck here, it's just, your draws are kind of your draws, and you're so focused around one card that adding a random card to your hand and giving your opponent a random card is often not a good trade for you. So you just go off early, even though you're not under pressure.
Donegan going to take a mulligan out at 6 cards right now.
It's been the story of the match so far.
It really has been. 4 cards game 1, 6 cards game 2.
I mean, if he wins it, it is rare that you are minus 5 cards over the course of the match and get to win.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
He's looking for a good 6. His last 6 was okay. It was functional. And he clearly got a little lucky.
I mean, he got therapied for 3 Brainstorms. And definitely still won.
Yeah. Here's a probe. There's the grip. Delver, Secrets, Daze. Doesn't appear to be a force of will over there.
Looks like therapy, Brainstorm,
yeah, a couple
2
of
lands. Good hand.
Perfectly fine mulligan.
Turn 1 Delver, discard spell plus Daze. That is excellent for 6. Won't be excellent if Brian just has a turn 1, though. Few things are.
Here's a Bloodstained Mire.
One of the scarier parts about the Storm deck, it can go for turn 1s a frequent amount of the time.
Yeah. Much more than you would think.
Yeah, this is one of the fast combo decks, but it's rather stable too, which is scary.
There's a Duress.
Does he want the Brainstorm, the Daze, or the Therapy? He'll go for Brainstorm.
I think I'd want the Brainstorm too. Sure. You know what the other cards are, as in you know what they're going to do. You don't know what that Brainstorm can become. That part's a little bit more scary.
We'll see where Dylan goes. Can have a turn 1 Delver here. Does he have? I guess the wait for him is, can he afford to play turn 1 Delver, or does he have to play turn 1 Therapy?
I think you got to get that clock going. I think Dylan agrees.
I agree.
In a perfect world, you get to cast that discard spell. There's also no guarantee you even hit with the discard spell, because it is a therapy, not a Thoughtseize or Duress effect.
Right. I think if it's a Thoughtseize or Duress, you lead on it.
Here's a Brainstorm.
And if Bryant's brainstorming, it's a good sign for Dylan. As long as Bryant doesn't combo this turn, then Dylan will have made the right choice.
Yeah, but what this is basically, Bryant is saying right now is, I'm setting up.
Maybe not for, maybe still for this turn, but he needs more setup.
Yeah. I'm getting everything in place to go nuts. Now, before he's already just had the things to go nuts, but now with the probe, with the duress, with the brainstorm, setting things up to get ready to go nuts. Dylan does not reveal for Delver.
Still has the 1/1 then. What does he name off therapy is the question, if he goes for therapy.
He'll sacrifice a land here. Yeah, now what you name off of therapy, I think in the dark, it's Lion's Eye Diamond or Burning Wish.
Yeah, Burning Wish seems like the most likely one to me. With Lion's Eye Diamond, there's a chance that Bryant would have just played the Lion's Eye Diamond because he knows Dylan has therapy. Burning Wish is a card that's relevant, and if Bryant has it, is almost certain to be stuck in his hand.
Well, here is the Cabal Therapy, and we'll get confirmation on what's being named right now. It's not an easy decision. There's a lot of redundant cards named. It's almost impossible to pick the right ritual. So now you have to break it up by picking the cards that can actually kill you. That's a Burning Wish, that's an Infernal Tutor-esque effect. Infernal Tutor was the name.
It's a great one to name too. It's another card that would certainly be stuck in his hand.
So Rite of Flame, Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, and Volcanic Island are the hand. Now keep in mind, Bryant did resolve a Brainstorm last turn and has not sacrificed the fetch land yet. So maybe he hit something on top of the deck.
It's true. Yeah, Bryant, last turn, would have had the ability to, he would have been a mana, he wouldn't have had enough mana to make the play. He's close.
On the upkeep, Cook is going to sacrifice his Bloodstained Mire, so clearly what he put back he's not happy with. And given that we know his hand, the top of his deck is going to have to be helpful because right now all he is mana.
And remember, Dylan has to feel, you have to think that Dylan has permission, because if Dylan didn't have any sort of permission in there, Dylan could have sacrificed the Delver to get another card from Bryant, and he chose not to. So I don't think Dylan feels particularly vulnerable right now.
Cook will play that Volcanic Island, pass the turn back. Donegan taking a look with Delver. It appears as though it has missed again. An attack for 1.
Yeah, still no flip on the Delver, but he does have a Deathrite Shaman that can join the Delver of Secrets to up the clock.
Yep.
Remember, this clock will turn quickly. When that Delver flips and Deathrite starts exiling things, it's going to be 5 damage a turn. It's likely something like a 3-turn clock for Bryant. Also, the more damage Dylan does, the more it'll take away Bryant's ability to ad nauseam him.
So the goal is here to get his life total low.
Yeah, I mean, well, right. So at the end, so much as that's always your goal, you know, getting them to 0. If he can front load the damage somehow, he should. You know, say he had a lightning bolt, say it was game 1, he had a lightning bolt, it's in Dylan's best interest to just fire it immediately.
Yep, just fire that baby off, get him as low as you can.
Yeah, sometimes you try to disguise it so that they don't know what the clock is, but there's more value in just using it.
Donegan checks with Delver, no flip, so while still in the upkeep, he'll sacrifice a Flooded Strand so that he draws a different card than what he saw from the Delver. Here's a Misty Rainforest. Here's an attack for just 1. And Donegan's still with that Daze over there. Bloodstained Mire for Cook. All he can do is pass. So, Deathrite Shaman's going to exile an instant or sorcery. Cook will lose some life. Donegan's still missing with his Delver. He has to sacrifice another fetch land because there isn't land on top of his deck. Wow.
But even so, it seems like Bryant's just bricking right now.
Yeah, I don't think Bryant's drawing anything that matters.
Yeah, and as long as Dylan is sitting back on a counterspell, even 1, I would see, well, maybe not if it's Pyroblast, but then Dylan's got the upper hand. And Delver, yeah, not flipping at all. Just 1-1 for 1.
It'd be a much different game if that thing had flipped.
They have been very stubborn today.
Yeah, they really have. I was
know.
thinking the same thing.
But yet the Delver decks are winning. That's the best part. We're seeing lots of players play Delvers, never flip them, and win anyway.
Well, when Delver flips, it's just easy mode. That's all. It's like a cheat code. Cook, have you found what you're looking for yet? He's got a lot of mana. We know he's got a Lotus Petal, a Rite of Flame, a Dark Ritual. He's going to start generating some mana. He'll start with a Rite of Flame.
All right, up to 2 red. That one will go up to 4 red. Dylan not worried. Bryant's doing this into a lot of open mana. That's the scary part.
And Dylan's got to try to represent some strength here in his hand. You know, one thing that Bryant can really deduce from what's been happening this game is that your hand's probably not very strong because you're not revealing anything to your Delver. Clearly, you have not found an instant or sorcery over the past couple of turns.
Well, here's Burning Wish from Bryant. This one's going to be interesting. I think he is on a line where he's just going to get Rite of Flame. Or no, sorry, Past in Flames. And just Ritual, 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 Past in Flames, Ritual, Ritual, Ritual.
He's going to go with, ooh.
He's got, maybe he has enough to just to go for the Tendrils kill.
He's going to get a Dark Petition.
Okay.
Here's Dark Ritual.
This is our second Origins card we've seen today.
Yep, there's another Dark Ritual.
Up to 5 black mana. And here is Dark Petition.
He has Spell Mastery.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Even if Dylan uses Deathrite Shaman, he will still have Spell Mastery.
Correct.
So a good card for Storm as well. I mean, as the flavor is, if you have Spell Mastery, your 5 mana becomes a Demonic Tutor.
Yeah. So what Bryant can do here with the mana floating, he's got 5 floating. He can search up a Burning Wish. Burning Wish for Tendrils. I hope he has not made some sort of error in his calculations. Because the one card he has to beat right now is Daze.
He has up to 7 mana available.
Well, Lotus Petal makes it easier. There's Wish.
There you go, all right. And this Wish could, honestly, I mean, yeah, he can get Tendrils. That should be enough. It's the 9th spell of the turn. Dylan will Daze.
Yeah, he'll Daze one of them. And he says, I'll pay. And that's going to do it.
There you go.
Bryant Cook's going to win this match here over Dylan Donegan. 2-1. Storm will take care of Grixis Delver. And what's interesting there is we saw use of a card I don't think we expected to see in Dark Petition. And it looks as though it ended up mattering on that particular turn as far as the combo kill is concerned.
Well, it's pretty nice to have a Demonic Tutor in your sideboard. I guess there's this extra hoop where you have to have a lot of mana to make it be Demonic Tutor. But there, Bryant needed all the mana that it gave back.
Yeah. No, I actually think that was a unique use of that card. And I actually think, you know, there are other people play other tutors in the sideboard. Sometimes they play a card like Grim Tutor. Mm-hmm. We've seen that in the sideboard, that 3 mana one that you have to pay 3 life.